Hi, I'm Leila Khan, and you're watching The Permanent Rain Press.
Hi everyone, it's Chloe with the Permanent Rain Press. Today I'm happy to be joined once again by the wonderful Leila Khan. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Chloe. I'm so happy to be back.
We're so happy to have you and of course dive into season 3 of Heartstopper. But to start off, I believe a congratulations is in order because you graduated university. Since we last spoke, you finally finished that final semester. How does it feel to finally have your degree?
A weight has lifted off my shoulders. I'm so happy. I loved university, don't get me wrong, but like because I had to take time off and then come back to it and then take time off, come back to it. I'm just glad I see the back end of it. I'm so happy. It's all come to fruition. It's all worth it. That's what I have to say. So yeah, I'm happy, very happy.
You are a drama and English lit. You have that degree now, so you're officially a part of an alumni.
Yeah, that's crazy. We still get emails like alumni emails. I'm like, oh my God.
Now it's like alumni events and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's so crazy. They were like, we miss you. And I was like, don't lie.
You're like, you don't miss me at all.
Yeah. No, I think I was too much of a headache.
The administration, like detailing in all the absences that you took, but it's
Yeah.
great to have it officially like kind of finalized and you have like your certificate and everything, and now you can move on to bigger and brighter things.
Hell yeah. That we're taking the world by storm. Me and you, Chloe.
So speaking about taking the world by storm, of course, Heartstopper is the show that does exactly that. We'll get into season 3 where we are discussing spoilers. So for all those watching, please make sure you have finished the whole season on Netflix before continuing. You joined the cast for season 2. And now that you'd become connected and familiar with this cast and crew, can you describe your mindset going into the third season and how that differed for you?
Yeah, so I think we spoke last time and I said I joining I was really, really nervous. But this time it was more excitement than nerves. I mean, there is definitely um like anxiety and pressure that you feel like wanting to do the characters justice. But yeah, I definitely felt more excited this time to come back and work with everyone and and to continue these characters' journeys. Yeah, I was really excited.
Sahar does not transfer to Truum for sixth form like she does in the novels. Was there ever any discussion about following that plot point?
Um, Not that I can recall. I remember getting the script and noticing that the girls and Darcy stay at Higgs for sixth form. But yeah, I don't think there was any discussion. I think also Alice has said before that because creating the show is such a wider um the story is so much wider than the novels that she has to accommodate for that, so maybe it was in her creative decision to make Higgs a sixth form to follow that story and to create a wider world for these characters. But yeah, I don't remember any discussion. Maybe I wasn't paying attention, but I don't think there was.
You're like maybe it just went over my head, but it's one of those things where it's almost like if it doesn't move the story forward kind of thing, it's like why bother? So
Yeah.
having Sahar remain with the others makes a lot of sense, especially with Imogen as well. Is there anything specific you remember from the Paris squad beach scenes in episode 1?
Yeah, so episode 1 we actually filmed in our first week of shooting last year when we started. That was our first week, and it was really lovely. I remember because we we had we had all just started back together, and it was like the first shoot day last year. I'm sure production do that on purpose to get us into the groove of things. But it was nice because we all of our first scenes were all together. And I remember that it was freezing cold because it was like October, so it was like this time last year, and we were filming in the sea and it was freezing. But, I'm still grateful and still happy to be part of the show. But yeah, I remember it was freezing and I remember it was really nice. It felt like a homecoming in a way.
How did you stay warm while on set?
The lovely costume department had what did they have for us? They had, like hoodies, those really oversized jumpers that are like pajama ones, and we all got our own one. And they weren't character ones, but it was quite sweet because they bought us ones that kind of fit our character. So mine was like black and checkered and was really like kind of Sahar's gothic kind of vibe, that kind of vibe. And then I remember Imogen had like a really bright, no, Rhea, because it wasn't actually for the screen, it was just for us to keep warm. But Rhea had like a really pinky kind of coloured one. Corinna had a purple one. So they all kind of fit our characters, even though they weren't for the screen. And that's just the costume department doing their thing again. Adam, he's great.
It's such a nice touch to have, even though you mentioned we don't see those on screen.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's still supposed to be like the summertime, but I loved watching Sahar and Imogen bicker about all the items that Imogen brought and was struggling to carry. Of course, Sahar did not offer to to help her out. They just had that banter going.
Yeah, you can just imagine them two at home and Sahar going, "No, we're not bringing all this. I'm warning you now, like I'm not carrying it for you." And then Imogen, in with her stubborn head, going, "Right, well, I'll do it myself," which you have to respect in a way. But you carrying all the stuff and dropping balls and stuff, and Sahar's like, they're both very bullheaded. I think they're both very have their own way or like fixed in their ideas. So I was like, I'm not doing it. And then Imogen's like, well, I will. And then you can just see the clashing. Yeah, it's great. It was so fun to riff off Rhea in those moments because those parts aren't always scripted. So we just get to have fun and play around.
I love that you're also getting the freedom to do that, and it makes for a good scene, for good TV. When you're filming on location, like there can be either a lot of fans or interested onlookers around. How has it been navigating that when you're filming scenes in public spaces like at the beach? Because I did see like kind of paparazzi style pictures around, and I'm sure a lot of like fans also were kind of looking down at the beach and what was going on.
Yeah, so we were staying in Lyme Regis for the first week of shooting, and we thought, it's all right because I think there's not many young people in the town. We all had this kind of, I definitely did. I won't speak for anyone else, but I definitely had this idea that, it's probably just maybe retired people living their life at the sea and quite a small area. No one's gonna know. And then obviously first day of shooting, everyone and their grandma was there. But we at first in season two that was quite overwhelming because we had a lot of that in Paris and it was my first professional job and I was like, okay, this is a bit overwhelming and it can be quite distracting at times. But you kind of realize that okay, just get on with your job because it is a job and you just crack on and you do the work. And actually it's quite nice to have the fans. They're all usually quite respectful and they just stand there and they just watch quietly. So it's nice to have that kind of support as well from people while you're making it because you can see their live and direct how loved the show is, and so you just want to do it justice. Yeah.
What were Sahar's GCSE results? Like, were there official results printed for the students, including Sahar, that we didn't get to see on screen?
Yes. So all of our characters had like they had to be, the props department had to make like three or four because every time we were ripping the envelopes open. So they like made three or four and then I think we were running out because don't want to waste paper too much. So they were like, just rip it nicely. Um, but yeah, they actually had like their character names on. So I had Sahar's name on it and her student ID number, and then you actually pulled the paper up and they had like proper results. It was kind of a flashback for me, obviously, but she had much better grades than me. I think she had like sevens and eights and nines, and I was like, God, she's so smart.
Did you get to keep that prop at all?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Chloe, I've got like a box full of stuff that I've kept. We'll get to it later, but I brought my nan and granddad to set one time. It was the Summer Fête time. And while I was showing them around, I was like, can I keep this? And has a little duck from the audience. But there's like a, like a duck games at the fetes and fairs and stuff. You have like a fishing rope and you have to try and catch a duck. I got a little tiny keyring one, and my granddad still has it on his car keys, which is really sweet. So I have loads of props. Yeah.
It's so fun that you got to take a little bit home with you and of course have your family involved. And yeah, we'll talk about Summer Fate towards the end of the interview with the kind of chronological order. But how was the zoo to film at? And like what were your favorite animals to spend time with?
So we did 2 days shooting at Whipsnade Zoo, and I loved it. It was so much fun. I had really cool outfits, really cool hair and makeup, so that was always fun. And the animals were awesome. There were giraffes. I think one of them was called Wilbur. There was three. There was two adult giraffes and one baby one. They were so cute, and we got to feed them for the scene and stuff. I think one of them was called Wilbur, and they were probably my favorite. And the goats. There was one specific goat, and I can't remember its name, but I have it written down somewhere. And it was like this. Oh my God, it begins with an M. I'm never gonna remember it. I'll have to text you if I remember it. But I wanted to keep this goat so much. It was like you'll see it in the show. It was like an old. She was old and she was grey and she was just beautiful. Oh, I wanted to keep her. So I've decided when I grow up, because in my head I'm not an adult yet, I want to have a farm and I want goats.
At the birthday party there at the kind of zoo area, there's a lot of tension, notably between Tal and Isaac. What do you think Sahar picks up on with all of this inner circle strain? Like, does it phase her at all? Does she have an opinion or take sides?
I think it's hard to ignore that kind of tension. You can really feel it even as an audience member. Um, but I think for Sahar in that moment, she definitely notices it. But these characters have built such a beautiful friendship where, anything anyone says or does can be received in without judgment, So she definitely takes sides. I think she really feels for Isaac in that moment. She feels what it's like to be left out. Because she's kind of experienced that with Imogen in the past, being left and stuff. So she probably really resonates with Isaac in that moment. She supports him. But again, when they make up, she's not the sort of person to hold a grudge. I mean, she probably would with other things, Imogen, but I think she knows when to be supportive friend and when to pick her battles. So yeah, she's just the friendship in general with all of these characters is a lovely safe space where there's no judgment. So when things like that happen, I think just as in life, you kind of just get on with it.
That's so well said. And, Sahar was one of the ones there to comfort Isaac after that kind of conversation happened. But I feel like it's very much in her nature as well not to at least want to get involved in the drama, even though it's happening around her.
Yeah, I think she's like that kind of friend that you can come to and talk to your like have your talk to her about your problems, but she's gonna offer you advice. She's not gonna tell you what to do, and she's not gonna hold much judgment. If I'm talking to my friend, my best friend, she'll come to me, she'll be talking to me about maybe but like relationship troubles, and I'll be like, get so I'm the sort of friend that's like, I'll tell you what to do and listen to me. Whereas Sahar's like very wise and she's like, okay, well, this is what you should do, maybe. Like, but I'm not gonna hate you if you don't listen to me. Yeah. I think she's good at not being not holding grudges and picking her battles, I suppose.
Now, Sahar and Imogen reconciled their friendship, and when the group is together, they're often paired or at each other's sides. In your eyes, what did Sahar like about Imogen and having her back as a friend?
I think there's a great saying, and it's don't partner with people that are good at what you're good at. Opposites attract, right? It's a good saying. So I think where Sahar's she can be quite reserved, not necessarily shy, but she's more reserved and laid back, and Imogen's more heightened and excitable and really outgoing. I think that's what she likes about Imogen. She's drawn to that kind of, I don't want to say chaotic, but you know, that kind of excitable energy and the passion and the fire that Imogen has to bring. And I think that's what she's drawn to, and that's what she missed when they weren't friends. I think that, yeah.
Sahar's Halloween party, Nick walks in to see Sahar and Imogen kissing on the sofa. What actions and emotions led up to that moment?
I think a lot of alcohol was involved in that, and definitely because Sahar already had feelings for Imogen. So alcohol and, you know, those underlying feelings are probably not a good mix. And that's what led to that messy makeout.
Sahar had stormed out after the kiss, and Imogen later tells Nick that she was experimenting. Obviously, she was drunk. When Imogen laughs it off in front of the camera, what were Sahar's feelings towards Imogen and what just happened?
So it I really feel bad for Sahar because I'm like, oh, because Sahar really does have feelings for Imogen, and she always has. In a way, Sahar looks at Imogen as like the one that got away, if you know what I mean, the first person that she really realized that she had feelings for. So I think, yeah, it's just human to she's really enjoying this moment with Imogen. It's like all her dreams come true in a way, and then to realize that it's not reciprocated and it's just a joke with her could it's like gut-wrenchingly painful, right? I know that if I was to experience that, I would be so hurt. So I think it's human. It's all, the show has is so good at making um at showing things that really do happen to us, and I think this is just another one of those things that really do happen. We at one point in all of our lives we're gonna really like someone that doesn't feel it as well, and to have and all, yeah, it's kind of like it's like betrayal, but not so bad. It's just painful. It's just pain. It's just crap.
It definitely was like that raw gut punch reaction when she's kind of like, is this just a joke for you, right? And you can see kind of how hurt she is storming off. Can you expand upon the romantic aspect of their relationship from Sahar's eyes? Like, when did that connection turn into something more than friendship since their reconciliation? Because keep in mind, like you said, Imogen was the reason Sahar knew she was bisexual, but that was only kind of introduced this season.
Yes, so I think we had lots of chats about this during rehearsal periods, and we kind of discovered that Sahar's always had feelings for Imogen, especially when she found out when she was younger that she was bisexual, and it was her feelings for Imogen that made her come to that discovery. And I think feelings never go away, you can push them down and suppress them as much as you want. And just because you don't talk to a person for a while doesn't mean those feelings aren't there. So even though and also there was so much in season two, Sahar had such an anger and such a hate, not hatred, but a disliking for Imogen, and at the beginning of the season. And those strong feelings have to come from a place of love, I think. You can hate someone, but if you didn't care about them in the first place, why do you hate them? It's better to just not think about them. So yeah, I think feelings never really go away, and now that they've become friends again and they're seeing each other all the time, those feelings are just becoming heightened and stronger and coming to the surface again. So that's definitely what's going on for Sahar this season.
Like for Sahar, it's probably something she thought she had kind of like buried, right? And then like having it come back up, like it's a scary feeling as well.
Yeah, 100%. It's uncomfortable as well because you think, oh, I thought I was over this, and now it's coming back, and I've got to see this person every day. So there's moments where you can feel Sahar's kind of um her unease about the situation because she really likes Imogen, but she knows Imogen's not in that place. I think you could see that during the zoo days at times. Yeah, I think it's just that kind of coming to terms with your feelings again. And that's the journey that Sahar goes on this season. It's like coming to terms with her feelings, recognizing them, and then finding an output for them and how to deal with them, and reclaiming her identity and herself, and not live for someone else or live for your crush in a way. I think when we're younger, we really, I definitely have. I remember, waking up every day and texting the person that I fancied the most and thinking about them and all thoughts being consumed of that person. And I think Sahar goes on that journey this season of like taking back her life and being like, "Oh, no, I'm gonna live for me, and you're gonna go there and you're gonna do your thing. I'm gonna do my thing, and I still like you, but I need to be me. I don't need to live for you."
Their second kiss that they share on New Year's. So that was despite Imogen saying she wasn't sure what to make of Halloween, and with Sahar, she didn't want to be Imogen's experiment. So, from Sahar's perspective, what made her comfortable enough to go for that second kiss?
I think in that moment they share Sahar definitely sees like a vulnerability in Imogen that she's not used to seeing, because Imogen's always like the laughy, jokey person, and Sahar really sees her open up, and they share that moment of understanding and openness. And I think it's also that kiss is on Sahar's terms. When you watch it, she kind of leads that, which I think is nice because it's her saying, "Okay, I know this is gonna hurt me, but I've got to do it for in a way of closure." And also, you know, they're on the same page here now, in a way. How can I explain it? Sahara says, "Okay, I see what she's saying, and I know that she can't give me what I want, but I can't get over this feeling." So the fact that it's on Sahara's terms make it less painful for her, and they share that lovely moment of understanding and openness. So um, I suppose it's a kind of closure for them both.
Did Sahar actually tell Imogen before that she was the reason that she found out or she knew she was bisexual? Or was this Sahar's way of telling Imogen for the first time? Did you ever consider that?
I think, yeah, it was definitely considered because, that line she says, when you know you're the reason you're the reason I realized I was bi in the first place. I think with these two, we see a lot of miscommunication, especially in season two, when the whole texting situation, you didn't text me back, I did text you back. Like, there's always a lot of communication with these two, so I don't think we'll ever know. And also, Sahar's not the greatest at kind of saying what's on her mind, I suppose, at times. She is, to an extent. She'll say it as it is, but also when it's those nitty-gritty feelings, she might say them in a wishy-washy way, and then expect to be Imogen to know what she means. So yeah, I definitely think it's another misunderstanding that those two never quite, made. But yeah, I think in a way we see this moment of Imogen saying, "I don't really know what I want," and Sahar saying, "Well, you made me, this is a moment that you gave to me." So this is definitely the first time that they're both feeling it at the same time, but before, probably a misunderstanding.
It's like their relationship is just full of like, oh, nice moments, misunderstandings, low moments, and it's like this cycle. But things continue to be awkward for the pair. We know they kind of don't really talk. Jumping forward to spring and Charlie's birthday, tell me about the conversation they share in the tent about where they stand as friends.
Yeah, so they don't speak for a while, and I think that gives them both a chance to kind of really let those feelings settle within themselves. And this tent scene is such a beautiful moment as well as all of the moments that they share in their own ways, in their own rights. But this scene, they really make sure that they're on the same page, and it's again closure for them. Um, and it's nice that it's Sahar saying, because it's Sahar that has these feelings for Imogen. It's nice that it's Sahar that says we'd be awful together, and it's like she's took that time to really make that realization that even though I feel such strong feelings for you, I know that we're not right together, and such a grown-up, adult, mature decision to make because we can often let our heart rule our lives. And Sahar's decided to lead with the head, which I think is healing. I again like going on the term of healing, I think this scene is closure for them. And in life, we don't always get the closure that we want or that we deserve. And in this scene, they actually do, and it's so beautiful and it's so healing when we do get that closure. So I'm glad that they could have that moment together.
Definitely. And it's so nice when Imogen says as well, like she recognizes that she doesn't want to hurt Sahar and they know they've kind of been going in this circle. How fun was it to be back on stage with the band, with Queer Intentions? Like, I know you don't really play guitar, but did you practice your chords or strumming at all prior to getting back on stage?
Yes, so I had a few lessons with Steve, my guitar teacher. Love Steve as always. And I had a few singing lessons because I'm not a singer, I'm not a trained singer, and I was really nervous about it. And I was like, guys, we need some lessons up in here. We got to do this justice, right? And I had a really lovely time working with Jay, the singing coach, and Adi Asghar, the composer. So it was lovely. Yeah, it was a challenge and it was really out of my comfort zone, but I'm so glad I did it and I had a wonderful time making the song and singing up there with the band and stuff. Yeah, it was great. So they're all my own vocals, probably. I think yeah. I don't know. The composer did that, but I remember singing in the booth and and it was scary.
I think the song sounded great. So that was the Say La Vie song, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You're a singer now. You can add that to your resume.
I will be, don't worry. It's going on Spotify. I'm gonna have it on Spotify as like a look, I'm an artist now. Come on.
And it was such a good performance. I just love the whole band dynamics and of course bringing in Charlie as well as the drummer.
Yeah, I mean, I really, really enjoyed it. And again, it's another thing, it's like a pinch me moment. It's one of those things that I can't believe I actually did because it's not something that, again, it's not in my comfort zone. I've always wanted to learn to sing, and then I got to. So, and it was lovely being on stage and also like peeling back more layers of this character. Sahar, she's so multifaceted and talented and so much better than I could ever be.
I would like to think that these characters are, at least a little bit of an extension of the actors that play them in terms of creativity and whatnot. Now, at rehearsals, it is said that Sahar wrote a song about Imogen. Can you expand any more on that and what you think she felt inspired by?
Yeah, I think she felt they say right write what you know, and I think that's exactly what she done. She wrote about the love that she has for someone, but also about, not letting it overpower her and not letting these feelings dominate her life and just getting on with it. So she says, I'm putting up a fight, she's like, okay, I'm gonna live for me now. I've lived for you too long. I've waited for you too long. It's not happening. It's life, baby. Let's live it.
It's one of those things where I feel like you mentioned they kind of had a bit of closure, so there's that contentness, but I'm sure there's always going to be those lingering feelings like bubbling under the surface for Sahar.
Yeah, 100%, and then if they go off to uni and then they meet up again, I'm sure those feelings will always come back because Imogen's the one that got away. It was her, I think Imogen was Sahar's first ever real love. And that's I don't think when you love someone it ever goes away. So yeah, she'll always have those feelings for Imogen, but that she knows where to put those feelings and she put them in her song and that's her output, how she deals with that. And that's great.
We'll talk about Summer Fates and, having you mentioned your family on set. So tell me about the carnival set, what it was like to film there.
It was so awesome. We filmed a few weeks. It was maybe like our third or fourth week, and they had transformed the whole school field into like this great carnival. And I was with me and Corinna and I think Rhea as well. One of the days, we were going around when we weren't on set, and we were just like playing with the carnival stuff. We were taking glasses and taking pictures in the photo booth, and they had like this giant chess set, and we were like recreating that scene from Harry Potter because I think that was trending at the time. That TikTok where they're like, oh, it's you that has to go on. I know it. The Ron scene and the chess scene. So we were like recreating that. It was just awesome. It was like we were actually at a Summer Fête. So I had an amazing time doing that. And then my nan and granddad were able to come on one of the days that we were filming there, and they had a lovely time. I showed them around the makeup trailer and introduced them to everyone, and they stayed for the whole day. They got to be there while I did the singing. They loved it. They absolutely loved it. So that was a really special moment filming.
Recreating that specific Harry Potter scene seems just a little dramatic, don't you think? Who was who, like when you were on that board?
Oh, I can't remember. I just remember like we were just messing around, and like we would just keep saying the lines over and over like it's you that has to go. Oh God. Yeah, I can't remember exactly who, but it was, yeah, we were all kind of taking part. Me and Karina mostly, and then I think there was another time when me and Rhea actually used it to play chess while we were waiting. But the chess pieces were literally the size of me. I mean, I'm only 5 foot, but they were huge, and we were playing a game of chess. Yeah, there was other things. I told you about the hooker duck game. We were doing that in between scenes. There was a slide, a Helter Skelter Scott slide that we were going down like during lunch and stuff. I don't know if we were allowed to actually, but it was good fun. It was like being at a fete.
Did you get to play other kind of carnival style games as well?
Yeah, there were loads. I can't remember them now. I'm trying to think of what there was. Probably like the ones where you throw the ball and you knock the bottles down. I can't
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
remember now. It's crazy.
Did
But
you
there
get
was
to go on
loads
the
of them.
Ferris wheel?
No, I'm scared of heights, so there's no way I'd be doing that. But they actually shot the scene in the show with Joe and Jenny as Charlie and Tori on the Ferris wheel, and I remember watching them do it, and I thought it was awesome. Like they were actually up there doing that. It was crazy. I mean, I'm scared of heights, so if I remember when we had to film the Eiffel Tower, I was crapping myself. Sorry for my language, but I was terrified. So I don't know how they did it up there, literally in the cold, windy, like rocking. Oh God, I don't. Props to them. They are awesome though.
What do you think is next for Sahar and her story if renewed for a season four? Like, what might you like to see?
I would like to see Sahar's journey still within this group because she's still fairly new. She's just joined them like for the last year. So I'd like to see their friendships blossom even more so, and I'd love to see when they go to university and how she deals with that lifestyle. And I can really see her loving university, really coming out of her shell even more, um really delving into that creative side of her, writing songs, maybe forming new bands. I'd love to see that side of it. Yeah, 100%.
And I know it's mentioned, it's in the novels and carried over to the show in terms of like super old university, study history, dark academia vibes. So, I mean, it's nice to kind of follow that plot point, and it is very on brand for this character.
Yeah, 100%. I can just see her, reading books on like outside of like I'm not sure which university, but that's for Alice to decide. But I can just see her loving life, like going on late night walks and sitting in parks with her guitar, writing music. I can really see that for her.
Definitely a cool girl. Is there anything you'd like to see more of from any other specific characters and their storylines?
Yeah, I mean all of them. I really love I love Tara and Darcy's relationship. I love all of the characters, right? Don't get me wrong, but there's something so beautiful about their relationship, and especially in this season, I love that scene again because this season's so much more mature, and you know we learn so many lessons about like being our own people as well. So that scene between Tara and Darcy, where Tara says to Darcy, I need some personal space. It's handled with such care and such love. And I think that's such an important lesson for our audience to take. You have to be there for people and you have to support people, but you need to take time for yourself as well. So don't, yeah, I think that's such a, so I just love their whole dynamic, Tara and Darcy's dynamic. I love all of them. I love all of them. I can't pick a character, but yeah, I'd love to see where they go and how they navigate, Tara navigates uni life and her relationship with Darcy. And yeah, I would love to see that.
And especially as young people, like it is hard to navigate, young love as well. And with uni, and then with Darcy saying they want to take a gap year. So it's kind of like figuring out what the next steps are, even for obviously for Nick and Charlie as well, and Tao and Elle. Which was your favorite season 3 scene that Sahar was not in, and why? Like, was it the scene that you just mentioned? Or do you have a couple favorites?
Yeah, one of them that's up there is that one. I mean, we went to a cast and crew screening the other day and we watched, and I remember in that scene, I remember just thinking it was so beautifully handled, because yeah, it's such a difficult conversation to have, trying to tell someone that really needs your love and support that you need some space. And I just thought it was handled and played so beautifully from both of them. Um, yeah, it was a masterclass. Okay, so that's one. I suppose I should give you another one, shouldn't I? One that Sahar wasn't in. There's loads. There's loads. I love the scenes between. There's a moment Jenny handles Tori's character as well so beautifully, and when Nick and Charlie are talking to Charlie's mum and dad about, his struggles to eat and stuff like that. And then it pans over to Tori on the stairs. And it's not so much a scene, but it's more of a moment, but it's handled with so delicately by Jenny, and yeah, I I think that's a really beautiful moment. I can't give you scenes because there's little moments and flashes and cuts that I think are so beautiful.
Actors can say so much with just their facial expressions as well without words. So it's nice to see that that's kind of being recognized in something that you look for as well to make a good scene. Knowing that Sahar and Imogen could have a more than a platonic friendship going into season 3, did you and Rhea ever connect to discuss this possibility ahead of production?
Yeah, so we had lots of times in rehearsal before we started shooting to discuss with David, with the intimacy coordinator David, what these moments meant for each character. That really helped flesh out like how we would go about creating these intimate moments. So the first kiss, we knew that it was more messy and drunk fueled and more light-hearted and fun. And then we discussed as well for the New Year's one a bit more passion and a bit more care. So yeah, it was really fun. And me and Rhea, we're good friends. We text quite a lot as well. So I'm sure we texted and maybe called over that as well. Um, my memory is tragic when it comes to things like this, but yeah, we definitely spoke about it a lot because we wanted to make sure that we both understood. I understood Sahar's point of view, but I also understood Imogen's point of view in these moments, which I think is so important because these characters we're creating are human, and humans are complex and deal with so many different things. So it was important to flesh those moments out, especially with David. And we went over like important things in terms of intimacy. So we talked about like boundaries and what we were comfortable with and what we weren't so comfortable with, and creating a safe space before we created those intimate scenes as well.
It's so important to do that on a set and in production, especially like being, I'm sure like for you, it was this your first time like working with an intimacy coordinator?
Yeah, it's my first time. with David, the lovely David. He's great. He's fantastic. He really makes you feel because it was my first time doing an intimate scene, I think, for camera. I'd done some stage stuff before at university, but never for camera. And I think it's a different ball ground, you know. The camera picks up everything, so it's really important to be in the zone. And David really helps you get there. He's really great at what he does. And you know, he goes out of his way to text you out of work hours just to make sure that you're definitely comfortable with everything, and that you know if there's anything we don't understand, you know, he was great like that, texting us outside of work or making sure setting up phone calls and stuff. So everything was handled with care and love, just as it should be, and you can see that in the whole of Heartstopper, 100%.
So nice to know how genuine, he is. And he worked on all three seasons of Heartstopper. So it's also nice for the cast, I'm sure, who have been there from the beginning to have that continuity. Now, in the official Heartstopper podcast, it was Rhea who I think she had talked about how you had to, soberly act drunk snogging. So how was that for you and kind of finding that space, not only, the intimacy of that moment, but also acting like, okay, there was a lot of alcohol involved here.
Yeah, I mean, the when you're acting, it is sometimes hard not to go too far. You know, like you see some acting, and you know you're playing around, you're doing drunk acting, and it's easy to go like too far that way. So finding that balance is good. But the whole atmosphere of it, when you're on those scenes, you really feel it. Especially with Rhea, she's so great at just turning on like that. So she's great at leading that, and I kind of you know I kind of follow her lead the times in those scenes. The atmosphere of like the party dynamic, you kind of just yeah, you kind of just get into the groove of it. It is a funny one to navigate, being drunk and kissing and trying to be messy but also vulnerable.
This season largely focuses on Charlie's eating disorder. What can you say about the weight and importance of this storyline for audiences and, in particular, young viewers?
Yeah, again, as I was saying before, you know, the show really explores these characters in their most human light. You know, we all, like I said before, we're human. We all go through these things, and it's nice to see, in a weird kind of way, it's nice to see that our favorite characters are also going through these things and that they're human too. And I think that's important for especially young audiences to see that they're not alone. And Heartstopper has this amazing way of kind of creating these dark times and dark moments and dark issues, but adding that hope in. And, you know, by the end of the season, we're not feeling bereft and miserable and like there is no hope, because it's Heartstopper. And also, it's not unrealistic that, you know, we can go through an eating disorder and get better and get through the other side of it. So, yeah, it's important for audiences to see that if you're struggling with anything, you can get through it, because that's it. It's crap and it's life, but you can do it.
Cast did such a beautiful and honest job with this subject matter. Not only Joe, but also, you mentioned Jenny before and Kit in particular, like how it can affect someone who cares for a loved one. So, what can you say about the three of their performances and how they stood out for you?
Yeah, they were also, like you said, honest in their performances and so raw. And I remember we were at the cast and crew screening, and we were sat in a row, me, Corinna, Fazayo, and Nima, and we were just like crying. We were like, "Wow, this is painful and real, and so representative of what happens all around the world." Um, and you really feel it for these characters, and it's because they all do such a great job of highlighting the nuances, you know, and the different emotions, like we said earlier about not actually having to say anything but seeing everything. There's a lovely moment where Jenny, as Tori, is looking at Charlie's computer, and you just see the tears welling up in her eyes, and she doesn't have to say anything, but you feel everything that she's feeling in that moment. So yeah, they just do they they're incredible at what they do. Is all I have to say. They're just amazing.
This cast and crew screening. I mean, you finished filming season three back in like December of last year. So it must be so nice to kind of have these lead up events to connect and see everyone again all in one space. Or I'm sure most of the cast and crew.
Yeah, unfortunately, some guys weren't able to make it. Kit's out in New York doing Romeo and Juliet, which is incredible. So proud, and Joe was just there as well doing Sweeney Todd. So, um, although we weren't all together, it's nice those to have those moments where we all kind of come together and watch it and reflect on what we've all made together. So a lot of people were there. We had like all the costume designers, the grips, and then even people in post production that us actors might not see because they're doing all the graphics and stuff. So it's so lovely to everyone be in the same room and chat about what we've made. It's a beautiful process, yeah.
Will there be like a premiere event as well this upcoming
I'm
week?
I'm not sure. I know so there is actually we I don't think there's a proper premiere as such like a red carpet one, but I know that they're doing with Gay Times they're doing an exclusive screening with Jenny and Joe. So they're going to London, they're going to Dublin, and somewhere else, maybe Scotland, but I might be wrong. And they're doing like preview screenings and stuff with fans in those areas, which is really lovely.
We also go through Isaac's journey with his sexual orientation and being asexual and aromantic. How special was it to be a part of that scene in the aquarium area where Isaac comes out to his friends?
Yeah, again, it's just another lovely scene where you can really feel the friendship that all these characters have for each other, and that they're able to say what they need to say and get it off their chest, and there's no judgment, and there's no kind of no there's nothing there but love and this safe space, and a lot of people don't have that. So it's so nice to for us to be able to show, these are the kind of friends you want. And if you've got anything less than that, then get rid of them. Another thing that you can take from the show. I think, yeah, these are the friends that you want. Get anything less than that, get rid.
And that's something I just love about this whole Paris squad is like a lot of the tension and problems it comes from like misunderstanding and people not being honest. But that being said, when they do kind of when they are honest with each other, you like you said, you can see the love and support that they have.
Yeah, they're so great at, listening and responding, and you know, uh, they don't. These characters, it's not about ego for them. It's not about being right. It's about feelings and care and love. Yeah, I know I said those words probably 15,000 times in this whole meeting, but yeah, that is the show, isn't it? So it they don't care about right. I was right and you were wrong. It's not about ego. It's not about any of that. It's just about, oh, let's fix this. If there's an issue, let's fix it because I can't imagine my life without you.
Out of all the character storylines this season, they deal with issues including anxiety, identity, belonging. Is there one character storyline that you connected with the most personally?
Yeah, load. I mean, like I said before, they're teenagers and we've all been a teenager or we're all going to be a teenager. So we're all unfortunately got to deal with these different emotions and feelings. And I know when I was younger, when I was at school, I found it hard to navigate school life, and I had really bad anxiety at school and stuff. But mine manifests in different ways. So I'd try and be the class clown to hide the fact that I was really actually quite nervous of everyone. Um, yeah, I think it's just part of life. You know, you go through different things and you do get out the other side of it. The character's journey that I've enjoyed watching this season is Tori's. I think, and uh, the new character Michael, who's played by Dara, their little dynamic and their story and their journey together is a lovely one this season. So I really like that. But watching Jenny really go through Tori's journey this season was really lovely to watch.
For Tori, she talks to Charlie and she's like, I just love you so much, right? And when he says back to her, you don't have to give all your love to me, and finding someone else in her life is such a nice moment. And I know a lot of viewers and also readers were looking forward to Michael's introduction.
Yeah, it is such a lovely moment, and again, this season is so much more mature, and it touches on different moments of, adulthood and like growing up and all the things that we're going to have to deal with or that we do deal with growing up. And I know for older audiences, it's nice, especially for me. I know watching back, I was only a teenager a few years ago, so it's still all a bit close to home. But we have so many older viewers as well that can watch this and reflect on it and feel everything that these characters are feeling because we all have to go through it. And that's yeah, it's just lovely and that yeah, 100% Tori's journey, and I can't wait for the fans to meet Michael because Dara is so great at what he does.
You and Corinna Brown, who of course plays the wonderful Tara, you have built such a nice friendship relationship off screen. You've gone to many events together, including Wimbledon and Liverpool and Glasgow Pride. Can you tell me about your connection and how fun it is to go out to these public events together?
Yeah, talk about our connection. I don't know how me and Karina ended up being such good friends. I actually don't know. I remember thinking when I first met her, when you first meet someone and you think, oh, they're probably not nice. But me and Karina also always talk about this. I won't swear, but I remember saying to her, when I first met you, I thought you were, and then she was like, what? Really? But I think all good friendships start like that, and it was nothing that she done. I just was, I suppose, I don't know what made me think that, but yeah. At first, I was a bit like scared of her. Maybe I don't know because she's actually lovely, and there's no reason why I should have thought that. Maybe I was just scared. It was a lot of emotions at once, joining the new cast and stuff. But yeah, I don't know how we just get on like a house on fire. We're like two peas in a pod, and we have like that lovely banter where we can just ridicule each other, and it's just a laugh. We just take the mick out of each other all the time. um Karina's one of the only people in my life, a handful of people, but you know, you have friends in your life that you can't get sick of, that you could literally spend every day with them and not get sick of them. That's Karina. And I don't know, we've only known each other for like 2, 3 years almost. So it's weird. It's weird. But yeah, we have a lovely friendship and I love going to events with her. Me and Karina as well, like I said earlier, you don't partner with people that are good at what you're good at. She's very bubbly and outgoing, and I am as well, but she's more so, and she's better at events and stuff like that. So when I'm nervous, she really brings me out my shell, and she makes me go places that I'm a bit nervous to go to and stuff. So yeah, we have a good friendship. We have a good laugh together. I've waffled too much. Wow, I spoke more about Karina than I have Heartstopper in the last 5 minutes.
I love to see it. And you also get to meet fans together, which I'm sure is nice to have someone who's a bit more outgoing than yourself, because when you're introduced to new people, it's kind of like eases that tension.
Yeah, 100%. It's actually such a beautiful the Glasgow Pride and the Liverpool Pride. They were such special moments because we really got the time to talk to fans about the show and what it means to them, and we got to know about we were just talking nonsense with them as well. How was the drive in, and how far did you travel in today, and where's the best place to eat in Scotland? So yeah, Karina and I we're quite just easygoing people, and it's lovely to chat to people, and those moments at the prides were lovely because we really had the time there to not just hi, bye, actually talk to fans and hear their stories and stuff. Yeah.
I'm sure fans will be very much in love and happy with the new season. I'm so excited for everyone to see it. I have a couple more questions for you. I know you mentioned, Kit, he's doing so well with Romeo and Juliet. He was also in The Wild Robot. Your co-stars have just been taking over the art scene, Joe and Agatha all along. You have Zayo and Rhea on stage, and Will with his music in Wasia project. So how inspiring is it to follow what your friends have been up to and getting to see them succeed?
It's mind blowing. I can't explain to you how insane it is. It's so, yeah, inspiring, genuinely. And I just love seeing cool people do cool stuff. It is so, it's I can't get over it. I'm hoping me and Corinna will probably try and go and see Kit and Romeo and Juliet, because we got to go in February to go see Joe in Sweeney Todd, and it was the most amazing experience. Joe was fantastic. Currently watching Joe and Agatha all along is amazing. Seeing, yeah, just seeing cool people. The talent speaks for itself. And not that this was ever a question, but seeing yeah do cabaret, that was fantastic. Fazio stands alone. He's been working for years. He's a legend in his own right. Nima, he writes, and he did the writing adaptations for Romeo and Juliet, and he played Benvolio, and he was fantastic in that. We also watched him in the Royal Court in Hope Has a Happy Meal. You're just seeing the talent that speaks for itself, and these people aren't just one trick ponies. Heartstopper's fantastic, but they're also awesome in all these other things. So go and watch them, because your mind will be blown. And I can't wait to see all of the Heartstopper cast just take the world by storm, because yeah, we got it. They're just great people, and I love it. I get more excited talking about these guys doing awesome stuff than me talking about me doing awesome stuff. I'm just so proud. Yeah, I'm like a mum. I'm like a proud mum.
You are next, I'm sure. It's such a powerful bunch and talented group that you have over there. What is up next for you?
So there are a few potential projects that I'm working on screen and stage work, but there's nothing I can actually share with you right now, unfortunately. But yeah, stuff coming along.
Something very cool is you have kind of taken up boxing, which I just wanted to briefly talk about, which is very cool. What has that kind of brought into your life?
Yeah, so I've always kind of done I've when I was younger I did a lot of kickboxing and boxing and a lot of fitness stuff. I used to play like rounders and basketball and netball, and you know I used to do a lot of horse riding because we have horses in my family and stuff. So I've always kind of been a fitness kind of person, or I've always loved sports. So this year is all it has been about like finishing uni and self-growth. This year for me has definitely been about a lot of self-growth and working on myself, and I've had the best year. And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go back, and also it's kind of healing, doing stuff that you did when you were a child and then coming back to it. It's like, in a way, it's like, yeah, it's really healing that inner child, not to be too cringy or too Gen Z out here, but yeah, I love it. And my boxing trainer, he's great. I love him, and we have a ladies class that we've set up, and I've just made, I've made some lovely friends, and I'm I'm gonna be a boxer. I'm not gonna be a boxer. I'm not gonna be a boxer. I'm gonna be an actor. But hopefully, you never know, a boxing film or TV show might come along, and Layla will be in for a chance at the role. That'd be good. That's a dream.
That's fantastic that it's also about finding, community as well as, you mentioned the self-growth part. And I know Corinna is also like a stunt. She does stunts. So I mean, following in her footsteps, maybe.
Corinna's again. I could talk about these guys for days on end. They're all insanely talented. Joe, who knew Joe had a voice like that? For one, it's when you told her, I was like crying my eyes out. I listened to I listened to it all the time. Corinna, insane. Those stunts. I mean, I've seen her do some pretty cool stuff, and I just think she's awesome. I'm best friends with really cool people. What can I say? You are the company you keep, so I must be really cool too.
I mean, you're getting back into boxing, so like you said, boxer now, and it only helps you in the future. I'm sure, like you mentioned, it could open more doors, so it's nice to see.
Yeah, it's good to build up your skills, yeah, 100%. It's always nice to have something else in the bag. A little party trick, something that people didn't know. Um,
Self-defense as well, I'm sure.
exactly. And I'm getting some muscles going on, Chloe. They're getting big, so that's also nice.
I have one more question for you. If you were to compete on MasterChef, what would you make as your signature dish and why?
That is such a good question because I love cooking, but oh my God, you've put me right on the spot. Oh my goodness, what would I make? It would have to be, I don't know. I would probably steal one of like my nan's recipes or my auntie's recipes. On my dad's side, they're Pakistani and they make beautiful food. Like my auntie makes lovely biryani and aloo gobi and proper like authentic Pakistani dishes. And it would have to be one of them. It would have to be. I don't know what. You really put me on the spot here. Oh my God. Also, I just love a roast dinner as well. I like roast potatoes. So yeah, I'm not sure. Like I say there's like two sides to me. I've got the Pakistani side and the British side. So it would either be a roast dinner for the British side or like a chicken biryani or aloo gobi for the Pakistani side.
In MasterChef, I'm not sure if you're familiar if you watch the show, but they always love a good story behind the dish as well. So as long as you can kind of connect it to where you're from, I'm sure it would do well.
Oh hell yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, or maybe I could do some sort of fusion dish, like a roast dinner slash. Oh, now you've got me thinking about dinner tonight, Chloe. All the ideas are coming to my head now. Thank you.
Of course, that's what we like to do, get you thinking. And that was great. I love that answer. And thank you so much for taking the time and being so generous with your responses. It was so nice to catch up with you.
Thank you, Chloe. Thanks for having me. I've had so much fun chatting.
Well, we'll have to do it again, of course. Third time's the charm. But until then, for all those watching this interview, you can catch Leila in Heartstopper. Season 3 is out now on Netflix, and we will see you next time.
Bye.